When you are trying to live a virtuous life, when you're trying to every day work on improving your understanding of how to live a virtuously supported behavior with ethical standards that are really geared towards building a new you, different than the one of yesterday. You must also consider how not everyone is tagging along with you in that journey of developing virtue. What I mean by that is that not everyone will be of the same level of understanding when it comes to ethical standards, when it comes to disciplining your baser instincts, your drives, where you don't look at situations and see them as opportunities for you to break precepts, to take when you're not supposed to take, to be mean to someone, because now you have the opportunity, in your mind at least, to be mean, to engage in sexual activities, even in thought, simply because you could get away with it. To slander or to talk badly about someone behind their back, simply because you feel this rage inside of you against them, because they didn't do what you wanted them to or hoped for them to, or start gossiping. It's important to know that not everyone is in the same boat as you. And as your virtuous character takes shape, as your behavior transforms, is improved, where you're no longer the same person as you were last year, and you feel better about yourself, and you can sleep better, knowing that you're going and to put your head on the pillow without any remorse of having done something bad to someone, hurt someone. You're sleeping with a clear conscience. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone else is doing the same. Now, that creates another challenge, because you start seeing that more and more, day by day, you're going to have to slowly trim the circle of friends you have, the social activities you probably might be engaging in, the people you hang out with. Slowly, slowly are going to get more tweaked, refined in your choices of who you feel comfortable in spending your time with, your days with. Because sooner or later, you're going to see that because of your choice in living a virtuous life, you also are developing a sense of peace and comfort, happiness, tranquility in your mind. And you see the correlation, you see the connection between your choices, in choosing between a wholesome and an unwholesome action, choosing the wholesome, how that is percolating, that is leading you to a sense of peace in your heart, in your mind, and that's the reason why you're sleeping better now. But when I say you need to refine or tweak the circle of friends, you naturally find that to be the case. The course of events that is taking place because you're now protecting yourself. From what? From individuals, even though you might have been raised with them or have decades of past with them, wonderful memories with them. You see that something's got to give, as they say. You see that something has to be let go of. You see what is essential. And this is why we have in the Dhammapada, Lord Buddha saying, the wise person sees the essential in the essential. He or she does not confuse the unessential as an essential. You see that it's not the social interactions that you're after, ultimately. It is a harmonious state of affairs. It is feeling good with yourself as you're spending time with this or that person. Especially as you walk away from that interaction, you see that you're fine with yourself. You're comfortable with yourself. What happened? Because you're becoming selective. With what? Selective with how you live your life. Including selective with who you spend your time with. So you become more refined in that sense, where your circle of friends, you might have had hundreds and hundreds of friends. Now it drops down to double digits. Maybe 10. Slowly, slowly. Because we're living at a time period where not everyone is maintaining their course of self-discovery. These are big words. Many people say self-discovery, oh, just be yourself. Well, what is be myself? What kind of a life am I leading? Is it self-centered? Well, in what way? Is it giving of my time and energy? That in itself is not a wise thing to do, you know. To give from yourself, your energy. You must first ask yourself, who is it that I'm giving my time to? What is it that I'm giving my time and energy to? My life to? And I'm sacrificing my present moment to. So this is the place where this is what I'm presenting here, is offering you, is to be able to, when you're tweaking the circle of friends or acquaintances with whom you have interactions, you need to know the caliber, the type of person that you, this new you that you're transforming into day to day, day by day, must match, if you will, the frequency of your endeavor, the purity of your goals. There must be a resonance. That's why I say harmonious. And this is what Lord Buddha talked about as Sila, Samadhi, Panya. The 3 trainings we call it. But we start with Sila. Living with virtue. Something that exponentially we are losing on this place, on this planet. But it's not out there when I say this planet. It's actually starting from this world, from your circle of individuals, starting with your own family. So they must match the frequency of your endeavor of improving yourself, your virtue. Otherwise, you are simply going against the grain. You're basically sacrificing your life for the ethical standards of someone else, the non-existential, the non-present, the absent standards in many cases. Whereas you're trying to build an ethical backbone for yourself. Because you ultimately know, you're becoming aware of the fact that you are ultimately responsible for your actions. That is one of the basic criteria of a wise person. And that's why we're living among stupid people on this planet. The majority of us are not thinking properly. We're surrounded by fools. And yes, it starts with your own family circles, friends. You need to be very careful who you're spending your time with. Now remember, we do this with metta. You don't just lop it off, just break away and you have to do this with metta and with care, with compassion. You must give the other person an opportunity to know as to why you're starting to pull away, making those interactions less and less frequent with them. Your loyalty has to be very clear, and it must be to the peace and tranquility that is taking place in your heart, period. Not the person sitting across from you. That is a misguided approach that today's romantic or whatever now type of a world that we're living in is promulgating, is trying to advance those ideas of self-sacrifice and this for the other, for this or that. First, there must be virtue and ethics intact within you. That can never be sacrificed for something loftier or higher. There's nothing higher at that level of evolution for the person. That's where everything else is going to come from. Development of the mind depends on the development of virtue. And for that, you need to be more selective with the people you surround yourself with. So I wanted to mention this because sometimes individuals feel uncomfortable in realizing that their circle of acquaintances, of loved ones, of friends is becoming less and less crowded. Now, if you're practicing properly, you start to also intuitively understand that your heart is okay with all that. But ultimately, you're fine with yourself because there's peace and tranquility, not agitation. There's less of that, agitation, in fact. Because when you come home, you're safe. And that's what virtue really is giving us, a sense of safety. And that's the other very big reason why you're pulling away from so many individuals, so many acquaintances, because basically you're seeking safety. Safety. For yourself, physically, of course. For your heart. For your mind. Seeking safety for your mind. This is something that needs to be spoken of, taught at schools. Our schools that are in shambles in the world. No education proper is being provided to the individual. Today, sadly, no essential education is being given. Virtue must be taught first. Kindness towards oneself must be taught first. And that comes in the form of creating safety for yourself, for your heart, for your mind, for your body. And that's what this practice provides.